Where does the four-wheel underground suspension shine more? Creeping, crawling on the Rubicon, or going crazy fast out on Johnson Valley desert floor?
Yeah, good question. It honestly does great in both scenarios. Whether I'm going through the Rubicon or doing 50 to 60 miles an hour through washes at Johnson Valley, it's really impressive what the suspension does. I think that goes a lot to show how well it's engineered, how well the roll center is controlled, and how well the geometry all goes together. No matter what I'm doing, I feel stable. I feel predictable. It's fantastic.
That makes a lot of sense because they are designed to be great on and off road.
That's true. I do drive the rig to and from the trails as well. And I noticed on tight, windy mountain roads, I don't feel like I'm throwing the body off the chassis anymore. I just have one question.
What's that?
When are we putting some four-wheel underground parts underneath Samantha?
Soon. Very soon, and I'm excited to do so. And if you are looking to move your vehicle from leaf springs to a linked suspension kit, make sure to check out fourwheelunderground.com.
Hey, Jimmy, do you use any mapping software when you go off-roading?
Yeah, I use Onyx Off-Road.
Oh, nice. I do too. Have you been seeing the updates they've been sending out recently?
Yeah, the maps are changing. They're getting rid of that green spaghetti, and they're changing it up to something a little bit more colorful.
Yeah, as much as I love the neon spaghetti that was on there, they're actually making a really cool update that's going to make all the trails colored based on difficulty ratings, which makes it easier to explore the trails around you.
Yeah, I know how much you love the neon green, but I think this is a good feature for them because now not only can you find a trail near you, but you can actually get an idea of its difficulty.
It is. It's a really nice change. That's one of the reasons why I like Onyx Off-Road, and I've been enjoying using them, is they're always looking for ways to make the app better. They're always rolling out updates, which all of them just makes things easier for when you're going out and exploring the trails around you.
So if you want to go out and explore and find trails near you, make sure to download the app Onyx Off-Road.
Welcome all to the SnailTrail4x4 podcast. If you like going off-roading in Toyotas, wrenching on Toyotas, camping in Toyotas, and maybe even poking a little bit of fun in Toyotas, and of course, hearing about how fantastic Jimmy's wood is in Toyotas, then this is the podcast for you. That's right, ladies and germs. My name is Tyler, and sitting behind me is Jimmy's wood. And to the left of me is Jimmy.
Hey,
how are you doing, buddy?
Good. Yeah, I got 4 8-foot sticks.
They're nice and straight. They're not curved.
No.
It's nice that your wood isn't curved.
One was a little curved out, but I was able to suck it in.
Nice. Look at you go, being so self-independent. I don't know what I'm going for there.
No, I don't either. But yeah, we've got the wall started for the people on camera. Once we start these officially kind of start these YouTube videos, which we've been doing them for quite a while now.
Yeah.
Almost since 500, I think. Have we done?
Oh, geez.
Have we done about 50 of these? I don't know. I don't remember. But after throwing 4 sticks of wood on the wall, I realized that I probably need a 5th one just for the TV and how we got things set up. So I need another stick of wood, and then I can start throwing the plywood on. And then I'm thinking about buying felt and felting the wall, so it's just there's something soft.
Shag carpet.
Yeah,
so I can play with it while I'm sitting here.
I mean, that'd be fantastic for the audio side of things.
Yeah,
that's my concern. Is we're building a wall and then have metal on it.
Yeah,
and we're gonna get echoing.
Yeah,
and so I'm kind of trying to figure out like how do I dampen it one way or another. I am not sure, but I'm thinking I might throw felt on there.
Okay.
And it might be nice to have black.
So are you going to offset the license plates then? Because even with felt up there, if we cover all the felt with license plates, then
well, there's not going to be felt. Like we're not covering the entire wall as of yet.
With license plates, I think we could.
Maybe. Yeah,
we have a lot of license plates.
We do have a lot of license plates. Yeah, I think maybe we can. Maybe I won't do felt, but might paint it black just so if there's anything behind if you see through a license plate or if there's a gap, it'll be black.
I think we should put backlighting behind the TV as well.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
That way it's like yellow shining out from behind the TV.
Sure. We'll figure out how to do that.
Yay.
Yep, maybe some, we need another electrical plug in here.
We do. There's only one. It's really annoying.
Yes.
No, there's
only one.
There is only one in here?
I believe so.
Fuck.
I think we were going to
this room.
punch a hole through your office.
Oh, run an electrical cord through there?
Yeah, well, that or just put another one up from a box on this wall to this wall.
But then you have to get electrical permits. If you just punch a hole and run an extension cord through the wall,
well,
ta-da, no permits.
Who needs a permit? Yeah. That or we do, just out of the 2 plugs out of there, we just get one really long extension cord and then surge protector, which you're also not supposed to do for fire code. But we could put some 6 plugs on this side and then have 6 plugs on that side or something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what this whole building is wired super fucking weird, where the circuits are all kind of funky. So we just need to figure out what circuit that's on, how much power that circuit has, what it's powering already. And then we could easily add an extension box here and then conduit around and have a box over wherever we want it.
Yeah. So, yeah, it would be nice to have plugs on the wall behind me and plugs on the wall behind the camera.
Yeah.
But we'll figure that out as time goes on. We'll finally figure out how to do this office or this studio, and we'll find out if we get an echo.
Yay!
Yay!
Echo.
So how are you feeling? It's been about a week.
It's been about a week. Last week was pretty rough. I was feeling a lot better when we recorded the second episode.
Yes. 2 days after you got medication.
After I got medication. But I realize now that last week I was in a complete haze still, and I made a lot of mistakes with work.
Oh, no.
So now I'm having to go back and rectify and correct all those this week now that I'm feeling better and more focused. But things are coming along, and that's the price you pay when you're an owner-operator of a business. Then if shit doesn't get done or it gets done wrong, it's on you. So you get to fix it all. So, other than that, it's good. I'm still have my sinuses are just draining down the back of my throat.
Oh, bummer.
And then I get phlegm caught in my vocal cords constantly.
Yes.
I don't feel sick anymore. I don't feel hazy. I don't feel low on energy or anything, but it's just constantly annoying. And I'm like, are the medications, is the augmentin, the amoxicillin, still doing any work to fight the sickness, or is this just a new sinus issue that I've grown into?
Yeah. I have no idea.
Yeah.
It sounds like you need a decongestant to some extent.
I've tried them. I have them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dang. Or the amoxicillin's actually working and it's just causing it to, you're still just draining.
Maybe. Like my nasal passages are clear.
Right.
I can breathe through my nose.
That's good.
But just my sinuses are just draining down my throat.
Yeah.
It's really annoying.
Bummer.
So,
well, any doctors out there in the medical industry, or the off-road industry doctor,
I did have
Tyler.
I did have a couple people reach out saying that they developed really bad sinus infections as an adult, and eventually they ended up having to have surgery on their sinuses, and it's pretty brutal of a surgery.
Yeah, they drill it out.
Yeah. And essentially they end up putting like 5 feet worth of gauze up in your sinuses as you're healing for a week and all this shit. I'm just like, oh wow.
Yeah.
But I last time I talked to my doctor when I got the doubled dosage for the amoxicillin, he said, if this doesn't clear it up and you still end up getting sinus infections or it comes back around after this, then we're going to have you come in and do x-rays and CT scans.
Wow.
And I'm guessing he's leaning towards that route if that's what he's talking about.
Maybe. Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I've never had sinus issues really ever. And then just all of a sudden this year, for 2 months straight, I'm just getting pissed at everything because of my sinus issues.
Yeah. Well, my advice is to get it checked out for the most part. I mean, my father-in-law had a very odd stage of cancer in his sinuses.
Really?
Yeah. Which is one of those weird, it's like a thing you never hear.
Yeah.
But, so I mean, I would get it checked out. He is good. Is it remission? He's all good now.
Okay. Yep.
But for a little while there, it was, kind of touchy. So,
wow.
Yeah, for everybody out there, just take care of yourself. Don't be a man for a second, right? Don't be like, I'm cool, it's good, I'll get better. Just go call the doctor and talk to him for a second, and they'll be like, no, you probably just have a common cold. You're good. Or, hey, let's just have you checked out. We have medicine there. Most of us have health insurance, hopefully. And, just take care of yourselves.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So I will say I do have I have Kaiser, which is an HMO.
Yeah.
And I really like it.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
I've had Kaiser my entire life, and I hate the fact that they have taken on every single California, California, I want to say casualty, but it's not California casualty. It's all the California low-income insurance people. Kaiser has taken that.
Oh.
So now Kaiser has like tripled in business, and they can't keep up with themselves. In my opinion, because I've grown up, I'm a Kaiser baby. Like I've been Kaiser my entire life, and I remember the 80s, 90s, when there was like, you got personal care, and I feel like you don't get personal care anymore.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I definitely feel like it's a big machine for sure. But I have been impressed with. Every time I call, like the nurse hotline, that sounds funny.
Yeah.
The nurse helpline,
Hi,
yeah, exactly. What are you wearing, Nurse Jimmy? Got my scrubs on.
Yeah.
Now, anytime I call, they're really good about taking good notes on anything I call about or anything I'm having done, any medications I've had, and it seems like. I've talked to, I'm pretty much a different nurse, different doctor almost every single time, right? Because my general practitioner, they crank through them, right? They have a huge turnover rate on them. So I've had like 4 general practitioners in 2 years. But like, it seems like they're all on the same page though. They're all giving the same advice, even though I'm talking to different people.
Sure.
So it seems like the training and the protocols are there for the machine, but it definitely does feel like a machine at point times.
Yeah. I remember back in the day when I used to sit in a room with the doctor, and you would have like a casual conversation with them, and they'd know you as a person.
Yeah.
And every time you would come back to the doctor, it was like, I guarantee after that they wrote notes up, to be like, oh, Jimmy loves to play soccer and, is athletic and likes to break bones when he was a child, or whatever. And then when I come back, they maybe review some of the notes before they come back in, whatever it is. But I felt that it was fine, that you had sort of a relationship with them.
Yeah.
But now I feel it's like they have only 10 minutes or whatever in the office with you, and then they have to move on to the next person.
Yeah, interesting.
And it's so regimented that it's not personal anymore.
Interesting. Maybe that's the part I really enjoy, because I'm like, I got stuff to do today, man. Just get in. Let's talk about what's going on. Give me a prescription and get me out of here.
Yeah. No, I'm not opposed to it.
I don't know. Interesting.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, we can go on an entire rant about this, but this isn't a medical podcast.
This is the medical off-road podcast. Speaking of medical off-road stuff.
Okay.
As we've talked about, I wanted to just give an update real quick on this, because it is a very important PSA, I think.
Sure. I have no idea what you're about to talk about, but okay.
So Ozzy's wife, Kelly, rolled her Jeep on the way to Trail Hero and was helicoptered pretty much from St. George back to Las Vegas.
Okay.
St. George, Utah, back to Las Vegas, Nevada. They have the plan with CareFlight, MetaFlight, whatever the company is called, that's based out of NorCal here that we all sign up for in Northern California. They have the one that is the I want to say it's Fly Me Home, where they will take you from another state and bring you back to any hospital you want to go to. And so they have that plan.
Sure.
When apparently the helicopter that picked her up was not in the network.
Okay. Lovely.
And so they have an $85,000 helicopter bill now that their helicopter insurance is refusing to cover, because at the time when Kelly's head was bleeding all over the place, they weren't going to refuse the helicopter that was there.
Right.
And be like, no, I want the MedFlight one. Get them over here, kind of thing, right? So I think it's really important. I think it's going to come down to, we've been you and I have talked with CJ with the CJ about insurance before and how to protect yourself and your friends with our hobby that we have. So we might end up having to try and maybe get MedFlight on the podcast to talk about that and the little minor details of, hey, if shit happens, how do we make sure that we're going to be covered and that this insurance is really going to work for us?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But there is apparently I want to say it was a federal law passed that Ozzy found that states that in an emergency situation, you cannot be charged for a helicopter.
Yeah.
Ambulance.
Interesting.
So I want to say that was part of an Obamacare thing. But I need to look it up. He sent me the law, and I need to look at it and get everybody the correct information. But
yeah. And it might come down to plans, but I'm pretty sure my plan at Kaiser has helicopter insurance.
A lot of medical insurances do. So you can check that as well. You just need to make sure that the helicopter you're getting, which you may not be thinking about that at the time when your head's bleeding out in the middle of a highway.
Right.
The helicopter you're getting is in-network helicopters.
I know. That's so it's so stupid, but I mean, I understand why, but I also think it's completely ridiculous.
I have a big problem with the medical industry being for profit. We'll just put it that way, because if you're on your deathbed, you have an emergency come up, you're not going to be thinking about the money aspect of it when you're like, no, I have a hole in my lung, I need an ambulance to a hospital immediately.
Right.
Kind of thing. When maybe you didn't really need that, but now you have a $50,000 bill just because you took an ambulance instead of an Uber.
Right.
Like, like it's, I don't know. It's just, I have a big problem with the for-profit side because you're not thinking about the money when you're in an emergency situation.
No, not at all.
Which then can end up destroying lives.
Yeah.
So because of the cost of stuff. Yeah.
I crashed a quad out at Pismo, in like the early mid 2010s, somewhere in there. And like I flew off the top. It was at night. At this point in time, I don't know if I've had any beverage. I was having any beverages. I don't think I would have gotten on the quad though if I had been drinking hard.
Okay.
Right. And I was out with a bunch of vehicles, and I was following them, and they turned, and I started to turn, but I didn't turn exactly where they did, and I went off the top of a dune, flew down, hit the bottom, broke the handlebars of the quad with my chest.
Yeah. Okay.
Literally broke them, broke it off. And I don't know, Borja or somebody had to drive the quad, drove the quad back, but with one handlebar.
Okay. Jeez.
And I was alive and fine, but I was had this huge bruise across my chest. Had a little hard time breathing, and I was like, let's go get myself checked out. So we drove over to the local hospital, and I had an X-ray done of my chest. And then I had them put the dye. And then everything came back fine with the X-ray.
Okay. I
was like, "Are you sure?" And then I had the. And
I broke metal handlebars.
I broke handlebars with my chest.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Well, nothing's broken." I was like, "Okay." And I was like, "Is there anything else we can do to just make sure I'm all right?" And they said, "Well, we can." I think it's either an MRI or a CAT scan. I can't remember which one it was. But they put dye in my veins and then put me in this machine to see if the dye is still in my veins inside my chest or if it's just all over the place, right?
Yeah.
Do I have any internal bleeding?
Gotcha.
And then, I got home and I got a bill from that hospital for, I don't remember how much it was. It was like $15,000 or whatever for getting an X-ray and this CAT scan or whatever. And I turned it over to Kaiser, and Kaiser was like, "No, you didn't go to a Kaiser facility."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "There's no Kaiser facility down there."
Yeah, what are you
the closest one is, miles away. I went to the ER. What am I supposed to do? Drive? If I had a serious injury, I had to drive over to Kaiser, miles away and, have a problem on the way. This is ridiculous.
Yep.
If there's no Kaiser within a certain radius, I think there should be, you could go to anyone and get some service. So I had to pay all that out of pocket.
Yeah.
Because they would refuse to pay it because I did not take myself to a Kaiser, which I thought was stupid.
Yeah, and in those, I don't know. Yeah.
Ended up, I was
stupid,
fine.
I agree. Yeah.
You know, I'm freaking Iron Man or something.
And that's
Superman.
when Jimmy learned he's indestructible.
Yeah,
so.
and I can break metal with my chest. But, yeah, I had to buy the guy new handlebars. And we always have a rule, fix it with an upgrade. So I was like, come pick out any handlebars you want.
Yeah.
Let's get this thing fixed. Let's, get you some cool carbon fiber ones or whatever you want. You know? So, yep. But that worked.
Did they come with streamers and a little bell on them?
Yeah, exactly.
Ring, ring.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, I've run into some medical history or medical issues with the whole thing before. And I used to work in the medical industry, so I kind of know a little bit about it, but nah, I'm not. All right, I'm done. Let's move on.
All right.
Let's go talk about and do something fun.
All right, so this is Thursday's episode. 20 minutes in now, so thanks everybody for hanging in for that big rabbit hole. We got giveaways as always. So this month is our gift box giveaways. We talked about the gift boxes, I believe, last Thursday, and how it's the trail fundraisers that Moreflate has started, and it sounds like Snail Armor is going to be doing some as well. So we have right now the Rubicon Trail, which is the slate round that everybody got in the gift box. And there's also Barrett Lake and Fordyce Creek available on those rounds, and also the MFer hard vinyl mesh trash bags. So, take those as fundraisers. $20 roughly from each of those purchases will go towards a nonprofit trail advocacy organization of your choice, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's that, and so the giveaway for the month is 2 of those gift boxes.
Yeah, to 2 lucky winners. We're going to give those away, and your donations as well to BRC. And then we've got the Yokohama Tire giveaway, which we're giving away a set of tires from Yokohama Tire once we get to 750 reviews on Apple Podcast.
Yep.
So once we get to 750, we're going to do a random number generator, find that number, find that review, and then that lucky winner is going to get a set of Yokohama tires. They have to be less than a 20-inch rim and DOT approved.
Yep.
But before we get there, we're going to get past 700 reviews.
We will.
And once we get to 700 reviews, we're giving away a swag pack that includes an elite membership to Onyx Off-Road.
Yeah. So some pretty cool stuff. We got some pretty cool partners here on the show. So check those guys out for sure. Yokohama, Onyx, 4-Wheel Underground, Moreflate and Snail Armor, of course. So all of those kind of industry partners that we get for the show is totally stuff that we believe in, that we've tested, that we own, we've spent our own money on, and we absolutely love it. And we reached out to them for these partnerships. So anything that you guys can do to engage with them and just let them know that you heard about them through SnailTrail4x4 just goes back to help us, which goes back to help you guys for different giveaways and different opportunities. We get to work with them for things for you guys. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
I just had somebody reach out to me yesterday and ask if we have a Snail Trail 4x4 discount with 4-Wheel Underground, and we do.
Yeah.
It's down in the list of discount codes on every single episode. At the bottom of the show notes, there's a list of discount codes down there that you guys should use. I do want to. I'm just going to throw this out there and just say that use the discount codes, please, because it's not a benefit. I mean, there is a massive benefit for you because you get a discount, but it's also a way for companies to track where the purchase is actually coming from.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
So if you go to buy something from 4-Wheel Underground and you don't tell them that you came from Snail Trail 4x4 or you heard about it on Snail Trail 4x4 or you use the discount code, they just assume you showed up and you bought the product.
Yep.
Right? But it's a big benefit to small businesses or companies or podcasts like us that
to know where their sales are coming from.
Track where the sales are coming from so that they know to come back to us in next year and be like, hey, you guys did a great job advertising. We had a bunch of discount codes come in, and we'd like to continue this in the future. So go down, use those discount codes. I think we probably have more to add down there for sure.
We should probably look through and update them.
Yeah, I kind of perused them the other day just for this for Four Wheel Underground, but I think we can add more to that. I'm also considering making just a like a Linktree link sort of, and then just have it go directly to the discount codes. Something a little easier for you guys.
Yeah.
But so I'm working on something like that, or trying to figure that out. But yeah, this little rant is just about use the discount codes if they're there for everybody and anybody, because then it just shows the companies where the sale's coming from.
Yep. 100%. So one company that I would love to see if we can get in touch with is a freeze-dried food meal company.
Yeah,
we tried working.
Yeah, with Backpackers Pantry.
Is it Backpackers Pantry?
Yeah, we were working. Well, we are working with Backpackers Pantry. But I think we have a discount code for people, but there's no discount code for us.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, we can kind of buy the food at that discount, but if they want us to talk about a specific meal
or new stuff they're coming
out with, then we need we should get it.
Yeah.
So we could try it without having to buy it.
Yeah, I've tried their stuff before and it is really good, but I want to try everything they have. That way we can talk about it, right? And talk about the ones that we want, that we like. For instance, Hussman brought out some desserts from Peak Fuel.
Yeah, Peak.
And he brought out a peach cobbler and a mountain berry cobbler.
Okay.
Both of them were absolutely amazing. I could totally just take those, heat them up as the freeze-dried meal to add water to them, and then take a scoop of ice cream, just put it right on top inside.
Yeah. If you brought ice cream camping. But
yes.
I'm pretty sure there is a freeze-dried camping food company based out of Sacramento.
Really?
I'm pretty sure. I've heard talks about it. I think it's in Roseville.
Huh.
So I'll do a little digging on that and figure that out, or follow up with Packers Pantry and see what we can do, because I know they just came out with a whole new line. So we'll see.
Yeah. Another find that I found the other day, which I think is a genius idea, is that they are 12-volt portable refrigerator manufacturers.
Yes.
Are starting to put ice makers into their portable fridges.
Cool. Yes.
So Amazon had one on Prime Day, the fall Prime Day, that I totally wasn't aware of, even though it shows up every time I open up Amazon. But they had a dual zone 60-quart fridge with an ice maker for $400.
Wow.
And it was I want to say it was an Iseco or Dometic. It was a name brand one too for $400.
Really?
And I remember seeing it. A listener sent it to me, and I was like, damn, that's a screaming price. And I meant to go buy one, but I just figured it was a sale that was going on, not a Prime Day thing. I didn't put the two and two together.
Oh, bummer.
So I went back to look at it a couple of days later, and it's $600 to $650, which is still a great price.
Yeah. That's about a normal price.
That's a normal price, right? It's not $400 though, but ice makers in 12-volt portable fridges for camping.
Yeah,
that's a nice thing if you like your drinks.
I want to make two comments in regards to the fridges.
Okay.
First one is you know how that old fridge that I have, it's kind of seems like it's dying. So I got a new fridge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I worked with
that's right.
Iron Man 4x4, and I got one of their brand new fridges that they're coming out with, and this one's a dual zone, and it's not that much bigger than the old fridge.
Nice.
It's bigger, but it's not massive, which I'm happy about. And one of my criteria is, in the way that I load the fridge into my truck, is I wanted it opening on the long side. Right.
Okay, yeah.
So that the long side would open up and I can access it. So I'm putting it against my tailgate long ways, right? And then I can open the lids up. And that works well with my roof racks and the tent on top, and I can still access the fridge. And I think if it was opening on the short side, it just I wouldn't be able to get a full open because it would probably run into the rooftop tent. So they had the exact setup that I wanted, and I haven't gotten the chance to use it yet. I feel so bad because I contacted them like, I would love to work with you guys and get another fridge and promote it, and I just haven't needed. I've gone wheeling, but I haven't needed an overnight setup yet. I haven't gone camping overnight in quite some time. So, but we did use it for a party. So
nice. Okay.
We pulled it out and we filled it with some drinks and waters. We put waters on one side and drinks on the other side and had it plugged in. And it's fun. It's a great fridge. It's really nice. They had some really old model fridges, and they've updated their fridge line completely. So it's a really cool fridge.
Nice.
So if you're looking for fridges, go check out our friends over at Ironman 4x4 as well.
Sweet.
Because they got some good deals and some
What's
nice
the price point on their fridges?
I don't remember.
Typically have really good price points. So
yeah, they do.
Curious.
Yeah, they have good price points on everything for the most part. And once again, it's like I was looking at Dometics, I was looking at Icecos, I was looking at those bodegas or whatever, the Chinese version, and then I thought to myself, I wonder if Ironman 4x4 has this.
Of course.
And of course they do. They literally are like your go-to, has everything off-road shop in a way. Yeah, they're rad. So my second question, or my second point is, I'm curious because I've thought about this and I don't know anybody that does it, and I'm not sure if would be a benefit or not. Should manufacturers add the battery into the fridge?
So that was the other feature of this fridge.
Okay.
It had a dual zone ice maker and an upgradable battery, like a separate portable battery that you could just plug into the fridge, so you don't have to have the fridge plugged into power.
Yeah.
It said it ran the fridge for 36 to 40 hours, something like that, on that one battery.
Still pretty good.
It's a decent weekend.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, that's another feature that I think is smart.
Yeah.
I think for moving forward with portable fridge and technology, it just makes it, I don't want to say a little more accessible, but because you still have to buy the battery separate.
Yeah, sure.
But it makes it more portable and universal. It makes it easier to move between the vehicles,
100%.
easier to throw around into different situations, take out of the vehicle and just put it at camp, kind of thing. So I think it's a great move.
Yeah.
But
I do too. I was thinking about that, and I was like, why don't they just put batteries in the fridge? Like, one of the main reasons I have this battery, pretty much almost the sole reason I have this battery, is so I could have a fridge, run the fridge. Yeah. Right? And I've got, the way I do it is I connect the battery to my truck, and then I connect the fridge to the battery.
Yep.
Because then I can also use the battery as charge for my phone or charge with whatever it is. There's more plugs on the battery than there are if I just then me plugging the fridge in takes all the plugs away almost, right? So that's the way I've done it. But then it becomes a hassle of like, I've got to move the fridge. Well, now I need to disconnect the battery. I need to take the fridge to wherever I want to put it in the shade. Then I need to disconnect the battery from the truck, and then to move that over to with the fridge, and then reconnect them, and then connect solar, and all blah 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 blah. So I was like, why don't they just combine these things?
Yep.
Somebody needs to combine these things.
Yep.
I
They
thought
started
that
doing it. Yeah.
Same thing in 1999 when the one and only Apple product I've ever purchased in my life was the iPod Touch.
Okay. Yep.
And I had a cell phone.
Yeah.
And I was like, somebody needs to combine these.
Dang it, Jimmy.
Yeah. Well, then, like, whatever it was.
You were 8 years ahead of the curve.
Yeah. A few years later, the iPhone comes out. But yeah, and they are already there, I'm sure, once they made that iPod Touch. But I found that thing the other day. I don't have the plug to charge it, but I did find it.
That's fun.
And it was only like 8 gigs or maybe 16 gigs or something, but it was small. But anyways, okay, cool. Yeah, that fridge sounds cool.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I'll see if I can find the link. If anybody wants it, I have the link stored somewhere on my phone, but message me on Instagram. I'll get it to you. So.
Yeah. Cool. I think that's all necessary updates I have. Once again, I just want to remind everybody that if you are changing tiers on iRate 4x4, you have to go onto PayPal to cancel your previous tier that you were on. And the gift box tier is closing on Halloween Day. Who knows when it's going to close, so sign up the day before on the 30th to get into that gift box tier, just to be safe and to make sure that it's not closed and that we have to randomly open it at some point on Halloween just for you. So don't be that one guy.
Yeah.
Just get in there, as early as you can.
Yep. Did you know that Halloween is MFR Sean's birthday?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That
Yeah.
was my due date.
Really?
Yeah.
It was on Halloween?
It was on Halloween.
You just had to screw that one up.
I did. I guess so. I'm at the age I am and all my younger life, I wish I was born on Halloween.
Right. That'd be so cool.
Everybody partying every time for my birthday. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, but I was 3 days late. So but Jim's month's coming up.
That's true.
Whoop whoop.
I already have your gift.
Oh yeah?
Yep.
Sweet. I already have yours for Christmas.
For Christmas?
Yep.
Okay. Nice. All right, well, let's take a quick break.
Set of tires.
Oh, I love you.
Yeah. I did say some 40-inch Trepadors on sale
Oh, really?
on Facebook. I was like, ooh.
If only.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back to talk about the shenanigans that Jimmy and I have been up to, shall we?
Yes.
Hey guys, I love going out wheeling and I love playing in the outdoors, and one of the main tools I rely on for all of the activities is onX Off-Road. onX keeps me in the know, it keeps me on the trails, and it keeps me from getting lost so that I can make it back home to my family and friends. There's tons of tools and data available for outdoor activities on the app that helps you plan your next trip, and it helps keep the adventures rolling. Start your free trial over at onxmaps.com.
Oh, welcome back, everybody, to today's shenanigans with Jimmy and Tyler. We are sitting here in the studio right now, but we both did stuff over the weekend. No, Jimmy's shaking.
I did.
It
Yeah,
did a
and then
couple
I
things.
didn't.
And then he didn't. Okay. I did a couple things. Not really anything super notoriety. Notorious. I don't know.
EIG.
Yeah, it's me. No, I do have a couple updates on the Forerunner.
All right. Well, let me go first then, because mine's short and fast. And then you can talk. Yeah, I know. And then you can talk about Forerunner and going off grid.
Okay.
A little bit.
Cool.
I would like to. I'm going to do a little bit more of a septic tank update.
Okay.
Which I did get a message from our good friend Unimog owner, Mr. Tuttle.
Ron messaged me too.
Did he?
About my alternator.
Oh.
So
he must have been listening to the podcast or something. He's going through septic tank woes and leech line issues as well. And he was telling me that he's getting his entire leech line redone. And it's in the neighborhood of $20,000.
Holy crap.
And he's doing it the appropriate way.
Okay.
But yeah, it's nuts. And I might have to do the same. So we, at the conclusion of Monday's episode, the leech line guys were showing up to test things and check things out. So the way that this leech lines work, for the most part, is that there's a line that goes from the septic tank to this thing they call the distribution box. And then from the distribution box, it does more or less what it sounds like. It distributes the liquids that are going out into your leach field. In my case, it goes out into 3 leach lines.
Okay.
So I have one leach line that is working roughly about 75% well.
Okay.
I have one leach line that's working roughly about 25% well.
Okay.
And I have one leach line that's not working at all.
Nice.
Yes. They sent like a rotor-rooter grinder thing down it. And they got about 5 feet and hit something
that they can't get through.
They couldn't get through.
Wow.
Yeah.
So out of your 3 lines, you have 1 working.
More or less one working. The equivalent of one working. Yeah. So they told me
I'm kind of surprised it took 30 years to fill that baby up then.
Well, and all in all, I think it's the one leach line is all pretty much fine.
Okay.
In a way. I think if like we had a party and, you know, somebody was showering and we were doing the dishwasher and the laundry machine and everybody was flushing the toilet at the same time, like it would overwhelm. More water would go down there than would be
could leach out.
Could leach out at once.
Okay.
But, just general daily use for a family of 3 that just lives life.
Yeah.
And, it's not that bad.
And you guys only shower like once every 2 weeks.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah.
We don't wash dishes. Yeah, we don't. We have so much clothes
flush every 3 days.
Yeah, we have so many clothes. We don't ever need to do laundry. We just throw them away.
That's funny.
But I think one leech line for a family of 3 is not that bad. Now the mini assistant is taking longer and longer and longer showers. Mm-hmm. So this is why we started having a problem in the first place. But so the septic guys told me to get this thing. I forgot exactly what it's called, but it was something bladder. But it was I think I was describing it last time as a balloon.
Okay.
So it's this thing. You screw it onto the hose. You shove the hose into your leech line, and then you turn on the hose, and then it's this balloon that fills up, and then it closes off that line with the swelling of the balloon. Mm-hmm. And then at some point when enough water gets in there, there's a hole on the end of it, and it'll start letting water out of the balloon.
Okay.
And so I'm supposed to put this down the 75% leach line and run it for 10 minutes. And then what I understand how it works is more or less at this point now I'm forcing water into the leach lines, and it's going to try and clean out and press the sludge or whatever's in there out through the holes and into the leach field. And then when I'm done, I turn it off and I let it pull the hose out of the line, and water is not supposed to come flowing back into the septic tank for over 5 minutes.
Okay.
So if it stops flowing under 5 minutes, then that line is 100%.
Wow.
More or less.
Okay.
To do this, I need to get a submersible pump because my septic tank is already full or full-ish, and I need to drain it down so that if there is water coming back, that
you don't get drowned in it.
I don't. Well, it doesn't overflow, or it doesn't. It doesn't have a place to go. So, or that I don't fill the tank up too much.
Yeah.
So I need to get a submersible pump a bunch of the gray water out, or black water. I don't know what.
Yeah, probably black water.
Pretty black water. But we have like a pasture, so I'll just kind of pump it out down in the pasture, down by an oak tree, and let it be there, and lower it down enough so that I could do this in the 2 of the 3 lines. So the goal is hopefully to get 100% working line in the 75% one, and then hopefully we can get the 25% line better.
Yeah.
And then I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to go back 5 feet in that one leach line, and I'm going to dig down and try to find the leach line and find out what's happening at that 5 feet. And fingers crossed that it's just like extremely root bound and maybe broke the pipe or something like that. And then it's been that way for maybe a little while, and it's been so dry
on the
other side that no roots have gone in it. Okay. And it's perfectly fine past that 5 foot mark. So once we fix that pipe at that 5 foot mark, everything else will work fine.
Yeah.
That is best case scenario right there. Worst case scenario is we have to dig another leach field.
Wow.
Yeah. So I have to do the bladder thing and then test those out and then see what we're going to do next.
Wow.
But the septic tank is done. Everything now, all the problems at the leach line. So I've completely undug the entire septic tank. I've dug it down 3 inches below the lid, and I've dug out the inlet into the septic tank and the outlet out of the septic tank. And I'm going, and then where they patched the tank is dug out, and I guess there's another hole or area that they could run leach lines out of that is pre-built into the tank on the other side. So I'm going to dig down there, and then I'm going to put salt down all the way up, more or less to the top of the lid, and then I can bury the tank back up.
Okay.
So at least we won't have this huge, massive hole in our lawn anymore, and I can kind of get seed going in that and get some grass growing in that general area. So we're getting better, but we're also still having issues. Yeah.
Makes me happy I'm on city sewage.
Yeah. Well, on the flip side, I am starting to research if city septic or sewer runs down the main road.
And if you can just
and
pull a city
how
sewer
much
line.
it might cost to do that compared to the estimate that the plumber guy gave me to redo the septic leach field, which was around $20,000, which is also what Ron said his was costing.
Yeah.
So if it cost $30,000 to get onto the septic or sewer, it might be worth it.
Yeah, right.
And then never have this problem again.
Yeah.
I was
you
also
could turn your septic tank into an underground man cave.
Yeah, or pool.
Yeah. Just take the lid off. Dive in.
Yeah, hop in. There's a weird divider. I could enclose the divider section and then have a hot tub and pool side. Yeah. Don't worry that the water's...
Don't pee in the pool, guys.
Don't pee in the pool. For some reason, it's always brown water. I don't understand it. It's just, I don't know. But, I don't know. We're doing a little bit of diving in, trying to figure that all out.
Mm-hmm.
But, so that was Thursday, which was actually when we last recorded.
Okay.
So Friday, our favorite watering hole turned 10 years old.
The Monk's
Cellar turned 10 years. So they were having this like decently long celebration. I think it went Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and they're like celebrating it. They had a bunch of different. They had a whiskey release. They had some different beer releases, and then Saturday was sort of this culmination. Is that the right word? This conclusion to their party, and so we went on Friday night. And the releases for the, I'm going to say this on the podcast, and maybe a few of you might understand what the joke is here. Tyler will, for sure. The bottle releases was, I'm going to pull it up on my phone because I need to nail these, what the names of it were. So
Jason and Chris don't make fun of you?
Jason and Chris will understand the joke.
Okay.
So Monk's Cellar Summer Bell, available on Thursday, Farmhouse Ale Saison.
Okay.
And then the Monk's Cellar Autumn Reflections Farmhouse Sale Saison.
Okay.
Yeah. So we were like, we have to go on Fridays. We have to try these beers.
Yeah.
There's a funny relationship for that. If you know, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So we went on Friday. We went for the celebration. It was actually pretty chill. It was nice. They were like, this might be the calm before the storm Saturday.
Okay.
But long story short there, Jimmy got way too drunk. way too drunk.
Too many autumn specials?
Too many of everything. I don't know. So I had a beer at lunch with Brad at Hot Metal Fab. We made dinner, and it was pasta, and we had a glass of wine. And then we went to Monk's. And I don't, like... It doesn't sound like it was a lot, but I think it's just higher proof alcohol.
Okay.
So it hit me harder. But I had an old fashioned, and then I had both of the beers, and then I had they were making a special cocktail. It was a Elijah Craig old fashioned that was smoked.
Okay.
And then I had another drink that I don't remember the name, but it had spicy bitters in it.
Oh.
And that was pretty good.
Like hot spicy, like jalapeno kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Wow.
And it was, I liked it because it was spicy.
Uh-huh.
And then that was all I had. And then we went home, and I was not, the assistant fell asleep in the Uber going home. We got a ride there, first of all.
Okay.
Like this was like, we were planned to not be able to drive home.
I've always wondered, so you've mentioned this before where you're like, yeah, we went to Monk's. And then we got an Uber home, and I'm like, is this a normal thing? Like, do they have a parking spot for you guys to park in so you can park your vehicle overnight?
No, but there's a huge parking garage behind the Mini Assistance Theater.
Okay.
There's a big old 6 or 7 story parking garage. So it's not, and it's free parking.
Oh, nice.
There in the parking garage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we get too inebriated,
you just leave the car there.
We just leave the car there. We Uber home, and Uber is $20 $25.
Yeah.
And, it's $9,975 cheaper than a DUI or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't exactly know how much a DUI is, but I've heard they're around 10 grand.
Yeah.
To pay off. And so it's way cheaper than a DUI and it's way smarter, to not do anything silly. And then we just take one car back to down over there to pick the other car up, or we leave it there until one time we had to take the mini assistant back to drop her off at theater one time, and we just left the car there all day. And then I drove all three of them back, and then the assistant jumped in her car, and we just drove back home or whatever. Nice. Or we went to Monk's that next time, and then drove 2 cars home. It's actually not that big of a deal to leave a car.
Yeah,
and it's so much smarter. So please be smart out there, people.
Yep.
So, anyways, got home. Had a rough night sleeping. I had the spins. Just got up a few times to go to the bathroom, but didn't throw up or anything. But at hindsight, I wish I did.
Yeah.
For some reason, man, I'm to the point now. It's like the next day is always better when you do throw up.
Yeah. So get that poison out of your body. Essentially.
Yeah. I was so hungover. We had a very lazy morning. And it was sort of planned lazy morning because we knew we were going to have a tough time. But I had things that I wanted to do, and I couldn't do anything. I was down for the count, chugging water, laying in bed. It was not a happy Jimmy.
Jeez.
And that afternoon, we were supposed to go. So Sac State had their homecoming game.
Oh.
And one of the mini assistants' friends has an older brother who is in the marching band at Sac State. And so that parent was like, hey, let's invite all the friends and come out and go tailgate before the game and then go to the game. And I was like, sounds great. And then that morning, I'm like, I was to the point where I could have made it, but I would have not enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I had a headache. It was going to be loud. Everybody was going to be drinking. I didn't want to be drinking.
No.
The game, everybody was being cheering and screaming and things, and I would just been sitting there. I could have sat there and watched the game.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have enjoyed myself.
Yeah.
So I tucked my tail. I stayed on the couch. I told the assistant, she was feeling fine. And I told the assistant, you go, you have fun, tell everybody sorry. I overdid myself the night before, can't make it. And so that's what happened. And I watched Fast X, which I haven't watched yet.
Okay.
So
I don't think I've watched that one yet.
So, no spoiler here, but there's going to be another one. There's going to be an 11.
Okay.
So, yeah. And then, I watched Beekeeper, which is a Jason Statham movie.
Okay.
Which is exactly like every Jason Statham movie out there.
Yeah. As a beekeeper, though?
Yeah, it's this, he's a beekeeper, but
I'm just picturing Dolly as Jason Statham now. That's really what I'm envisioning.
Yeah, or Tina McCua.
Yeah.
No, it's but there's also in the movie there's a secret organization that's also called Beekeepers.
Okay.
And they're sort of like an FBI or CIA, but there's only one of them.
Oh.
There's an organization, but there's only one person that is out in the field.
Okay.
And their job is to protect the hive, more or less protect the United States.
Okay.
And Jason Statham was a retired beekeeper, member of this clan that comes out of retirement because something happened.
Gotcha. So it's essentially 24, Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. But with Jason Statham.
And all Jason Statham movies. Yeah. He's the badass that destroys everybody, right?
Yeah.
But so it was a typical Jason Statham movie. If you enjoy those things, it was kind of fun. The plot was a little thin, but it was still an action-packed thing.
Yeah.
It was 4.5 stars on
really
on whatever Rotten Tomatoes or whatever IMDb or whatever it was, and I'm like, man,
we like cheap thrills, Jimmy.
Yeah. I was like, maybe a 4, but and then so that was Saturday.
Okay.
Sunday rolled around and we did some yard work. We moved a lot of the wood from that tree that fell. We just left it there to dry, and then now that winter's coming. We moved a lot of the cut pieces and started stacking them where our wood pile is. And then I think first gen Forerunner Dave's going to let me borrow his tractor, and it has like a bucket on the front. And so we're going to load up the rounds into the bucket and then drive them back and forth over to where we split the wood.
Nice.
And then eventually I'll get around to splitting it. I don't know if I might let it go a whole nother season.
Yeah.
Just to dry. I might split it and then let it go another season, because we do have quite a bit of wood that we still have. So, but we did that. We cleaned out the garden. We were getting ready to plant our winter garden, even though it's a little late. We should have done it last month, but we figured, well, better late than never. So we ended up getting, on Monday with the mini assistant, we ended up getting the plants for the garden. We pretty much planted a bunch of broccoli, some cauliflower, some Brussels sprouts, some kale, and some carrots.
Nice.
Yeah.
Purple carrots or orange carrots?
Whatever carrots come out.
Perfect.
I think it's just normal. Yeah, just random carrots.
Okay.
But we did orange cauliflower and purple cauliflower.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because the mini assistant picked those out.
Perfect.
She also picked out Brussels sprouts, even though she hates them, so we'll see how that goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love Brussels sprouts.
Me too.
They're good. There's so many different ways you can prep them. They're kind of like a blank slate vegetable where there's so many different ways to season them and make them that's what's fun about them, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Cool.
So that was it. That was the weekend. Hungover Jimmy that, more or less had to waste a day because he overdid himself.
Nice. We took Reed up to the mountains.
Yeah.
Again. So we went up to, this time, my aunt and uncle's cabin up in Arnold. And it was more just a chance to hang out with the aunt and uncle.
Cool.
And get Reed to spend some time with them, and vice versa, right? Because I don't know if I've talked about it before on the podcast, but we're pretty sure that I'm the only grandchild that's going to end up having kids.
You did say that at some point, yeah.
So we'll see if any of the other grandchildren come around and change their minds. But as of right now, it looks like Reed might be the only great grandchild in the family.
Dang.
On my side.
You're never going to have to buy something for that child.
That's going to be fantastic. He's going to be so spoiled. Yeah. But anyways, we got to go and hang out with them for the weekend.
Nice.
So we got up there Friday evening, and then Saturday was all of our drinking day.
Okay.
So
you're opposite of me.
Yeah, we there's a couple places up in the Arnold Murphy's area that we love to go to. So anytime we make a trip into Murphy's, we have to go to these two places.
Yeah.
One of them is Locke Vineyards.
Okay.
So Locke knows us as the Corgi parents, the Corgi people.
Sure.
And we haven't been in to see them in like over a year.
Yeah.
And so we show up.
Been busy.
We've been busy.
Yeah.
And so we show up with this new baby, and they're like, "Oh my God, is this why we haven't seen you guys?" And we're like, "Yeah." So we got to catch up with the Locke owners for a while. That was really fun. Reed found, and this weekend he discovered banging on things.
Oh, lovely.
And that things make noises when you hit them on other things.
Yeah. I want to interject right there.
Yeah.
So the mini assistant, the assistant got divorced, right? And and then we have the mini assistant. Well, the assistant's ex-husband got remarried, and then they just recently had a child.
Uh-huh.
And now the mini assistant has gone down a few times to stay with her dad and to see the child.
Uh-huh. And
at this point in time, the mini assistant is like, she's so cute. It's great to have a little sister. I'm so excited. She's just so adorable. She just makes these little squeaky noises.
Uh-huh.
And then that afternoon,
so she's like a newborn.
Newborn.
Okay.
Yeah. And then that afternoon, after the mini assistant went to bed, I said, the mini assistant. I said to the assistant, the mini assistant's gonna hate life once that kid figures out a voice.
Yeah.
Once she starts screaming, and it's funny because it, like you were just saying, it reminded me of it. Is like they learn things in like sort of steps, right?
Yeah,
like
stages for sure.
Reed just learned that he could start banging things, and it's like this baby's going to learn that it eventually has vocal cords and has an ability to scream, and then the mini assistant's going to be like, I never want to go back there again. Can I go back when the kid's like talking.
Yeah. Stay away during the pterodactyl phase.
Yeah. Right. 100%.
Yeah, that's the phase that Reed's in right now, is the pterodactyl phase. He's figuring out that he can make these different noises. So he's blowing raspberries and making these screeching noises, not because he's frustrated or yelling, just because he's figuring out he has vocal cords.
Yeah.
So anyways, it's been at Locke. They have metal tables outside.
Oh.
And so
Yeah.
Reed was just sitting there the entire time. Bang, 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 bang. And like the secretary's like, can you stop him from doing that? I was like, he's having fun. Leave him alone. She goes, I know, but everybody around us is getting annoyed by all the banging. I was like, okay, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
So I had to like kind of find something else to keep him entertained without banging on the tables.
Just put a pillow in front of him.
Yeah, right.
Hit the pillow, kid.
We ended up putting his burp cloth, a couple burp cloths down, so at least it didn't make a bang noise.
Yeah.
And once the bang noise went away, he stopped trying to hit the tables. I was like, oh,
Sure.
okay. So went to Locke Vineyards.
Okay.
Said hi to them, got caught up.
I've never been there, but I want to go.
Oh, you need to go. The wine there is so good.
Yeah.
Every single wine they make is outstanding. It's like, God, what's that new one that you and the assistant ended up getting a club at?
Plein air.
Plein air, yeah. It's like plein air.
Yeah.
All the wines are really good. The owners are super chill. They just love sitting down and chatting with everybody. So, anyways, Locke Vineyards, went there. We had 3 wine clubs to pick up. So a year and a half, I think, is what it is.
Yeah, well, that makes sense, yeah. They only do half-year releases, 6 months?
I think we're on the 6-month release.
Okay.
We might be on quarterly. I don't know. I don't remember when the last time we went there, though. But we had 3 to pick up, and then we ended up buying another case and a half of wine while we were there.
Well, I know what we're drinking when we come over for episode 550, which we haven't even told about.
They had a case of this amazing rosé that they make out of a Petite Sirah Zin as a rosé.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
And it was a full case for $170, which is like $12 a bottle.
That's really good.
So we ended up splitting that case with my aunt and uncle.
Nice. All right.
But anyways, so we got to Locke, and then we went out to Hinterhaus.
Oh, I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Dang it. I want to go there so bad.
You still haven't been to Hinterhaus?
I've never been there.
You would absolutely love. You and the assistant would absolutely love Hinterhaus.
Yes. All right. We need to do an Arnold trip and get CJ with the CJ out there, too.
Yeah. You definitely, we do, for sure. I tried talking everybody into going to the lube room, and everyone just kind of laughed. And I was like, what? It's a great spot. They got some amazing burgers.
Yeah.
But nobody wanted to go. So
bummer.
But the Hinterhaus people also know us as the Corgi people.
Okay.
And so now we're the Corgi and baby people.
There you go. At both places.
At both places, yeah.
But soon you'll still be Corgi, but there won't be baby for a little while.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll be like Corgi and like young child family.
The part that I'm hoping that we can kind of wiggle through is technically they have a rule that states no children in Hinterhaus.
Okay.
So because he's a baby still, we can I think skirt around that and bring him in, but I don't know how strict they are on the no children rule, or if that's like a permit thing or what.
Yeah, there's a local brewery out by me that does no children, and they're extremely strict about it.
Okay.
And it bothered me. I was like, he's a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, you're not going to serve him.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand what the issue is.
Uh-huh.
But they're like, nope, no children. You know, and I'm like, okay, you lost business today.
Yep. Yeah, so we'll see. I'm hoping that because they know us, as long as we continue going back and schmoozing that relationship, that they'll continue letting Reed to come in. But they had a fall. They're kind of, so they do their own distilling, right? Yeah. So they make some really good whiskeys and gins and brandies.
Okay,
are kind of what their specialty is. Yeah. But then they also have a couple vodkas and other things like that. So, but they just released a 18-year whiskey, cask whiskey, I believe. So their release party was on Saturday.
Okay.
And so we went a little bit after the release time of noon. I think we showed up around 2 or 3, and got to try out some of their release. And then they also had they do a specialty menu of drinks that they come up with to
for special occasions, right? So this one, the theme of the drinks was fall drinks.
Yeah, of course.
So they had a Palmtation,
Okay.
which is a pomegranate gin, and we'd made it with vodka instead.
Okay.
And that was I was thinking it was going to be my least favorite, and that was my favorite one.
Oh, wow.
It was really good. They also did a spiced apple cider whiskey thing, and then they also had a pumpkin spice horchata, and I forget what the liquor was in it. I want to say it was vodka.
Okay.
In that one.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And that one was really good, but it wasn't what I was expecting in my head, right? And so I think just because it wasn't what I was like, the other two, they were what I was expecting. But the pomegranate one was really good.
There is a pumpkin spice rum chata.
Okay. Well, they didn't say
Which
they
we
used
may
that.
or may not have.
I don't know. But the drinks there are always amazing. They do a really good job with their mixology.
Yeah.
And their distilling is great. And they have something. They have a beer schnapps.
Really?
Yeah, which I was like, never heard of somebody doing a beer schnapps before.
Yeah.
But they have one, and I didn't like it at all, but the secretary liked it.
Oh, nice.
So she ended up making another drink using the beer schnapps.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just looked it up. The Hinterhaus was on episode 109
Oh, wow.
on the Wheeling Wine and Whiskey
when they interviewed
podcast
him?
when they interviewed them. And ever since then, I've wanted to go and check it out because they do some really cool things, and they do it differently there than a lot of places do.
Yeah, they do.
It.
Yep.
And I don't want to butcher it. So go listen to episode 109, Wheeling Wine and Whiskey. I'll put a link down in the podcast show notes for you guys. And go check that out because they have a great story behind them. And I always thought it would be a fantastic place to go check out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, ever since then, I wanted to go, and you just are rubbing it in right now. So thank you.
Yeah, you definitely need to go. We started playing around with teaching Reed magic tricks.
Beer games? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Beer games too, bar games.
Yeah.
So they had the extra drink that the secretary got was called a spider.
Okay.
And it comes with a little plastic spider ring, right?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And so we took the spider ring and we had our little water cups, which are like little 3-ounce cups you'd find at a dental office or something. So we put the ring under one of the cups and then put the other cup upside down. So there's 2 cups upside down, and then would pick up the cup, show him the ring. He'd be focused on it, and then put the cups down, and then just move them, switch them spots, and then pick them up. And he would snap over to where the spider was. Then we would do it again. So he started learning to follow where the spider was, even though he couldn't see it.
Yeah.
And then we did it where we mixed them all up, and then he just knocked the cups over to find the ring. It was pretty funny. But then he started taking the cups and banging them on the table because he figured out that they made noise.
Yes.
So
he hit them over and they made noise, and then he wanted to bang them on the table.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So that was pretty much our weekend. It was just relaxing up in the mountains, which is one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah.
And, just having him up in the mountains. So going on walks around, going outside with him and just watching him soak it all in, and just looking up at the trees and figuring it all out is a lot of fun. So.
Yeah. It's a gorgeous area out there. I have not spent nearly as much enough time in that direction.
Yep.
I drive by it all the time to go to my buddy's cabin.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I don't go up that highway ever.
Yeah.
I don't have no reason to go up there. So, but it is, I mean, it's just another part of the Sierras that's absolutely gorgeous.
Yep.
Which is a lot of fun.
Yep.
With the western facing Sierras, is that right? West side of Sierras.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Western slope. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a gorgeous area out there.
Yep.
Green pine trees, oak trees, some maple. Yeah. Just, gorgeous.
Yeah. So that was the weekend. Let's see the Forerunner update.
Yes.
So I think last time we talked, we were like, I was testing to see if it really was an internal short on the alternator, if it would kill the battery again. Yep. So I had fully charged that battery, the Dakota lithium battery, to the full 100% charge on it.
Okay.
Put it in the Forerunner. And the Forerunner killed the battery to the point where the BMS shut it off.
within 48 hours. I wasn't sure exactly what time frame it was.
Yeah.
But that's essentially the equivalent power draw to kill 4 red top batteries.
Wow.
In under 48 hours.
Yeah, okay.
So there's a pretty big power draw short circuit somewhere.
Yes.
In the vehicle. And since the alternator is behaving like it's shorting internally, I'm pretty sure, A, that's the problem, the current problem, and B, that might have been my problem before when I had that mysterious short in the Forerunner and it was killing the battery in like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
But we couldn't ever figure it out. And I thought it was maybe one of the window motors getting stuck.
Right.
I think it was probably this starting to show its head.
Maybe. Yeah, absolutely.
So I talked with Premier, and I told them how I had the setup running because everybody says you need to run a DC to DC charger with lithium batteries.
Mm-hmm.
But Dakota Lithium says, no, you don't need to.
Sure.
If you want to run it as a house battery, which it's way overkill because it's designed to be a cranking start battery, they said it's nice to run it with a DC to DC, but it's totally not necessary.
Okay.
So I talked to Premier, and I was like, hey, I have this lithium battery, Dakota Lithium, 135 amp hour, 1,000 cranking amps, do you foresee any issues hooking it directly to the alternator, your guys' alternator? He said, no, actually it should work really well because we ramp up our alternators to put out a higher voltage at idle. So you should be able to get a good charge on the batteries without really having to stress out the alternator. I said, okay, cool. So I called Dakota Lithium and I said, hey, I've got this problem going on. And here's my setup. Do you foresee any issues with the setup? And they're like, nope, we designed that battery to be able to literally just unplug your lead acid or AGM battery and plug this one in.
Sure.
You don't need a DC to DC charger with it. The BMS actually helps control the input charge on it. And they said 165 amp alternator should be plenty.
Okay.
To sustain the battery just fine. And I was like, okay, so there's nothing wrong with my setup. Both companies have confirmed it.
Right.
So I think all that's needed at this point is I just need to pull the alternator, send it to Premier.
Yeah.
They have said there's definitely probably something wrong with the alternator.
Yeah.
But they have to see it. So I just need to pull it, send it in, and see if they hold through with their warranty. So
sure. Yeah. I was just thinking that you could probably just unplug the battery, or I mean unplug the alternator, and charge the battery and see if that solves it. But I mean, if you're already there and you're unplugging the alternator, I mean, it's like what, another 2 bolts, and you got it undone. So, and then you could recharge the battery, put it in with the alternator out, see if you have this problem anymore.
Yep.
And then you'll definitely know that the alternator was the culprit.
Yep.
Or you have a problem in the wiring.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, there could be.
I mean, that's never out of the question, right?
Yeah. So. And I have, in regards to the starter on my end, right? I've had a few people reach out to me and say, change the wires because the wires are always so small. And I have changed the wires in the past, but I only did like a crimp style on the ends where you connect the wires up to the battery and the starter. And I've had people say that the crimp style gets condensation in it and it will corrode out. So you've still like your cable might be bad again.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna investigate that again, and then maybe if the cable's okay, I might just solder the ends closed and make sure that no corrosion gets in there.
Yeah, there's 2 ways you can do it. Either just dump a ton of solder into your crimp and your wire, and that helps weatherproof all the wiring in there from corroding, or dump and put a bunch of dielectric grease in first, then shove your wire in and crimp it, and then tape it all up so that the dielectric grease can't go anywhere. It's kind of like a Burfield, right? Sure. Or an RCV where they have all the grease in the bell of the Burfield, and then they put that orange cap on it to keep it all in. So same concept. You can do both those ways.
Yeah. So. I was planning on doing solder and heat shrinks and all that.
But Yep,
that was the game plan.
Yep.
Other than that, I'm 99% sure I need to redo my body mounts on the 4Runner.
Yeah. Okay.
The driver door after Barrett Lake, I never really hit the driver slider on anything, and I can barely open the door right now. It's all jammed up on the slider again. So I think the body mounts are going out, and looking at the body mounts, I don't think they've ever been done. So it's 30 years now those body mounts have been in there.
Yeah.
So I think I'm due for new body mounts. And then outside of that, I think it's just finalizing the fan shroud, putting new shifters in, and then I'm ready for the snow season.
Sweet.
So
good. Yeah. I need to do something with my steering on Bobcat still. I haven't gone after that.
Oh, I didn't look into my power steering yet. I forgot about that.
Yeah, you got your power steering too.
Yep.
I have a brand new power steering box.
Mm-hmm.
I might try to swap that in and see if that solves the problem first.
Mm-hmm.
But I still need a bigger reservoir regardless.
Yeah.
And or a cooler.
Yeah.
So I don't know if my power steering pump is bad or not. Just because it seems to be an odd coincidence with RPMs.
Yeah.
I did have a listener. This was kind of funny. I did have a listener write out, hit me up on Instagram, and he said, your CV is going bad.
What? Which CV?
And I was like, well, I cut off all my independent suspension. I have a solid axle now.
Okay.
Right? And he was like, oh, sorry, here down under, we call your Burfield's CVs.
I mean, they are a CV joint.
Yeah, and I just
okay.
didn't put those together.
Yeah.
And he said, it sounds like your Burfields one of your Burfields is going out. He's like, maybe it's like expanded or cracked, and it might be causing problems on the inside, and that's why you're having a hard time turning.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I said, well, it's not. I could always it's never a problem to pull something open and look at it and rebuild something if need be.
Yeah.
So I might, rip apart the front end, but I probably will start with the power steering box and or reservoir and cooler.
Yeah.
And then work my way down. And at some point, maybe before KOH or Cruise Moab or something, I will rebuild that front axle.
Yeah.
If I'm not dealing with Samantha at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Good stuff, man. That's all I got.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I got. I do have a slight motivation on myself to try to get Samantha done for Cruise Moab.
Okay.
I think that'd be fun. I really wanted to get it done for King of the Hammers, but now that I'm doing new axles, I'm on a hold.
Yeah.
And I can't move very far because I don't have the axles.
Yeah.
So I need to go get my T100 rear axle.
Yeah.
So I figured I might be able to start there, or at least start putting it together. While in the meantime, while I'm waiting for that front axle to come in.
Yeah. Nice. I know we're starting to plan for Cruise Moab. So the secretary really wants to go to Moab next year.
Okay.
So we should be out at Cruise Moab with the 4Runner, Reed, the secretary, and possibly her parents.
Oh. Okay.
They're talking about wanting to come with us to Cruise Moab. So
I had my buddy Paul go out with me last year, and now almost all of my college friends want to come. So and I'm like, I only have like one seat, guys.
Yeah,
and they're like, no, we're gonna get
they're gonna rent some
rigs.
Gee.
Or my buddy has a 3rd gen 4Runner, and they're like, we're all gonna jump in the 4Runner, and so we'll figure that out. I might be not doing the crazy runs. Oh, it depends on what I take. If I'm gonna just bring Bobcat, I might just be doing some medium runs and hang out with them, and maybe one slightly harder run.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I don't know what the game plan is, but apparently they had a blast. My buddy Paul had a blast and told all my friends, the college group, about it, and now that everybody wants to come out and one, explore the area because it's absolutely gorgeous, and 2, go hit some trails and do some off-roading in that area. So yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Well, we'll have a entourage with us, it sounds like, and we're going to have a good time. Cruise Moab is one of my favorite trips that we do every year. So we'll definitely be hitting that one up again. And hopefully you guys will be out there as well.
Yep. Well, awesome. If anybody has any feedback for us on the episode, you guys know how to get a hold of us. It's down there in the show notes. We'd say it on every episode. There's the snail mail voicemail line as well. That's 916-3454-744. Call us, leave us a voicemail. We'll play it on Fridays and then have this little fun back and forth interaction with you guys that we love through the snail mail episodes. Jimmy, final words for everybody to close out the episode?
Ooh, I wasn't ready for that one. Let's see. How about check your drive lines?
And with that, my friends, keep crawling.
I got one for you.
I'm ready for joke time.
Good. I'm glad you're ready, because knock, knock.
Knockers. Who's there? Sorry.
Olive.
Olive who?
Olive next door. Hi, neighbor.
Oh, hi. I thought it was going to be an olive, like a olive juice. I love juice.
I don't know.
Okay.
Olive next door.
That's what pineapples are for.
Or olive here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.